So this is the next article that I want to get your guys' thoughts on it because we're kind of right in the heat of this.
Yeah.
Right. So Josh has 3 kids. Right. I got one already.
2 on the
Britton has
way.
1 on the way.
Just kidding.
We'll start trying here in a bit. Right? So this one is
1 on the way.
Yeah, buddy.
That's crazy. I still can't get over that.
the lawmaker he's pushing to raise the minimum age of social media use to 16.
Define
I have an
social
interesting
media.
thought on this.
Define social media. Every
Just to
platform
create an account,
on
you got to be
anything.
16.
On Facebook.
But you can get
anything.
past that
Is
so
YouTube
easy.
All you got to do
social-
is tell them you fake it.
Yeah, you tell them you're fake
Birthday.
it. That's what I did with
Oh.
Facebook when I was growing up. When I was
But here's
9.
here's their argument, right? So he says, because that's a big argument, is like, yeah, I haven't had Facebook. You literally just tell it.
It's like
You're old
when you
enough.
set up your account. You
Yeah,
just
you
say,
say
you
you're
just-
old
you
enough.
just-
I was born in
I always
1990.
did that growing up.
Yeah.
But he makes a good point. He's like, these tech giants can literally create anything they want and get anything they want, but they can't make it more secure, so you can't use it when you're under 16.
Yeah.
It just shows you that they don't
don't
want
want
to
to.
do that.
No, they
Because
don't.
that's probably their
that
biggest
limits their.
viewers.
Well,
It's
their
they're grooming them as
exactly.
they're growing up.
That's the thing, right? Because if they can get, what's the average age on TikTok? It's like 13.
13 years
Imagine
old.
what that does to a developing brain.
Do you know
That-
what
that's their
TikTok
argument.
is the most garbage content
Oh,
on the planet.
dude.
Well,
It's a cesspool.
And 13-year-olds are
Do you want to
the
hear
most-
an
Yeah.
interesting thing about that? So there's an interview with the CEO of TikTok, the Chinese owner,
Well, I saw
and
this.
they asked him, "Do your kids have TikTok?" And he said, "None of them.
We don't let them use it in
We
our
don't
household.
let them use it. I know what's on there. I don't want my kid." The CEO of TikTok doesn't
And
let his
what's
kids
even crazier,
use TikTok.
don't they have a different version in China of the content of TikTok?
Yeah, because U.S. and China versions are different. It's run by
He won't even let his kids use the Chinese version,
Yeah,
right?
'cause
Does he
he-
live in China?
yeah. He lives. He knows what's on TikTok. He knows what it does to the brain, and so that's his kids can't use it.
The
It's
Chinese
against
version. And
the-
we're over here
the owner.
the owner
Not
who
letting
knows
his
what's
kids
going
use
on.
his own product.
Jeez.
Swallow that
Jeez.
pill.
Well, going along that, 38% of children between 8 and 12 use social media, and then
That's
84% of teenagers 13 to 18.
What do you do?
And so, like, seriously, as fathers, like,
And we all have daughters too.
yeah, they're all of them are
I'm
daughters.
so much more protective.
Yeah,
of my
exactly.
Little
Like the
ladies.
last thing I want is a bunch of like creeper dudes or people looking at my daughter while she's
Oh my
being
gosh.
innocent on social media, right?
Yeah.
But we grew up, like, I remember when the flip phone came out, right? I mean, I'm 32, so I'm not old.
Well,
but,
seventh
like,
grade. I think
yeah.
I was 7th grade.
something like that. I just remember I got a flip phone, right? You couldn't even do anything on it.
Yeah. You
And-
could play on the newer one. You could play Snake.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
that
playing
was like
Snake.
the
That's
thing,
next
Snake.
level.
Yeah, dude, you're like click, 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 click.
So, but as current fathers and future fathers, especially of daughters, like, what are your thoughts on 16 years old? I'd even think 16 is like,
Well-
but you can't say no to social media
That's what's
and then
tricky.
just.
I think that's
you're
what was
just-
so attractive about my wife when we were dating is she didn't have social media and she didn't grow up with social media. Like, I don't know why or what, but she just never liked social media, and that was like one of the main attractions. Is oh cool, it felt like she was unplugged from the Matrix, I guess you could say. Like, oh, she actually has like real attributes to her. She's not a social media person. So that was like a big attraction for me when we started dating. So I don't know what triggered her never to get social media. I actually do though. So she
I don't
had it
know, but I actually did.
I don't know.
now that I remember, but she had it until she was like in junior high, and then one of the leaders of our church talked about the negatives of social media and gave everyone a challenge to delete it, and she deleted it and never had it since.
Dang.
So
There's something to be said. Like, I remember I deleted it for, I think it was a month. For the first week or two, all day long, your hands are just like grabbing your phone.
oh yeah.
It's just a nonstop. Just
You're so conditioned. You're like Pavlov's dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ding. Like,
Yeah,
oh, dang.
exactly. You're so
Exactly.
conditioned for that thing. And what I found too is, I mean, it's a great tool to be able to do research for business, I think,
And to
grow
market
business.
business.
and to grow business. But what I found was when I deleted it, I didn't miss it at all. Like,
No.
because I don't post on
You know what's
social
crazy?
media, so
When
it
you
was
do
worthless.
that, like, you call it like the social media fast or whatever.
Yeah.
When you get off it, you feel like you're just lost in the sauce. You don't know what's going on. As soon as you get back on it, you're like, I
You
missed
didn't-
nothing.
you didn't miss
Exactly.
anything.
And then, so I made the vow that I was going to delete it the day I got married because I've tried to delete it.
What do you,
a
when you're
ton.
saying it, what are you referring to?
I had
Like everything?
I only had Instagram. That's the
Instagram?
only thing I
Okay.
used because I thought TikTok was just poisonous
Yeah.
as far as what it does to your brain. So I made the vow deleted it, but my only hesitation was, I'm gonna miss what all these other people are doing.
Like you're not gonna know what's
I'm not gonna
trending,
know what's going on.
on.
And then I deleted it. I'm like, why do I need to know?
Yeah, live
Like,
your life.
My life is me and my wife and my immediate
And
family.
your friends and family.
You still
Everyone
have
else,
it deleted,
yeah, I still have it deleted. Don't use it.
but just for business.
I still have my accounts because I post. So I don't consume. I only produce on it
Yes.
for business accounts. But the amount of freedom, I don't know how to describe it, because just my relationships are way closer with the people I actually care about. And then I was watching this video on this philosopher from the 70s or 80s, and he talks about, this is before social media, he talked about the dangers of meddling in other people's business and affairs. And he's like, you can't even get your own life figured out. Why are you so worried about other people's affairs that are just
Dang.
acquaintances?
Do you know who said that?
I can't remember. I watched the video. I can't remember who
It
it
was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That is
It's powerful.
because that's all we do
All
all
social
day
media
long.
is meddling in other people's affairs, and it's their
Comparing.
Yeah, and it's not their real affairs.
They're
It's their fantasy.
They're fabricated.
They're fabricated
life.
affairs. Why would you?
Well,
why
then-
would you spend your time on that?
And think of that, like, I loved what you just said is a lot of people follow it to know what's in, right? What's the new trend? Why do I need to know what a trend is? So I can take a picture of myself doing that trend
What
and
does
share
that
it
get
on
you
the
in
ether.
life?
But that's the only other reason why,
Yeah.
like, if I'm just worrying about my relationship with my wife, with God, with my family, with my really close friends, like, they don't care how I dress.
Exactly.
They don't care how I do my hair.
They don't care how
They
many
don't care
likes I got.
anything, right?
Yeah.
And so when you can take your whole focus and just like, what do I need to do for my wife? Not what do I need to
Exactly.
do for
My followers.
this. I mean, I had a friend that was getting big when TikTok first came out, and he was literally in his garage producing content while he was babysitting his 3 kids. His wife was out, and his 3 kids didn't eat for like 4 hours because he was just out there in his own world creating content for his following.
Yeah.
Whereas like your immediate family, that's really all that
that's
matters.
your real following.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think
that's-
of that.
yeah.
And they were being neglected because you needed to create the perfect post for your ether followers. And so I just think like
It's so bizarre.
16
It's
years
just
old
so bizarre.
maybe, but I just think life's all about family, your inner circle. And if you can hyper focus on making sure your inner circle fills your presence, you're going to be a lot happier than trying
Yeah.
to chase something else.
Well, if you guys
near
watched the Social Dilemma documentary on Netflix,
I haven't
that's
watched
what
it.
triggered my anti-social media journey, I guess you could say.
Is that the one where they like,
It's,
hey,
it's
if I
all
want to
the
make people,
ex-Facebook workers, ex-Instagram
they
workers.
can
the
just turn
like
a
button.
knob.
They're all higher end of workers that left the companies because they started seeing how immoral it was getting on what they were doing behind the scenes. And it was after I watched that documentary, that's the first time I ever deleted all my social medias, just to start this journey of getting free from it. Is he talked about how addicting they make it, why they make it addicting.
Okay.
They talk about it's like a slot machine, like in a casino. Every time you refresh, you want to see new images or new red like buttons.
Mm-hmm.
He says a lot of people sit there all day and will refresh,
It's so
just pull them
Just
like a
for
slot
that
at a
single
casino
thing.
for that small dopamine
I'm
hit.
so glad we're talking. I'm deleting all my social medias right now from my phone. I'm gonna try this.
It's the most freeing thing ever.
How do you navigate it? So I hate TikTok, but we use it for business.
I still
Just get on
Just
a post.
delete it.
No, just get
No,
on
I
a
just
post.
get
I just don't even want it on my phone. Like,
But why? Who
Facebook,
cares?
Instagram.
well, I think
I have
eventually
no
we
discipline
get business.
Yeah.
in that sense.
Because I have yet to consume a TikTok video, but I post 10 to 20 times a day on it.
Can you
I
just-
just
let's
spam
see.
that bottom right button when I open the app, so I don't see. But
I think
see
that's
that.
where I think we got to have our goals very clear.
I'm gonna
like-
delete.
Yeah.
I'm deleting all my stuff. I'm gonna see how I feel
Do it.
for a week and just see what
oh
happens.
yeah, and you're gonna check your phone probably 40 times a day.
for like 3 days.
and
This
you're
is so
gonna. This is
tricky.
what happened to me when I first deleted all my social media. I'd open my phone, go to where my social medias were. They weren't there anymore because I deleted them. Then I'd just scroll back and forth on my iPhone
And then
home
you put it
screen
down.
and eventually put it down.
That's
You don't
so
realize
nuts.
how just
You're so conditioned.
you're so
conditioned.
conditioned. It's so addictive, but you just don't know until you delete it.
Okay,
It's
so on
crazy.
this, going like to the main question, having kids and little daughters and potential, I don't know if it's son or a daughter. I don't know what you guys
We'll
are having.
see.
How do you navigate that? Because you can't just be like,
You're gonna be that horrible parent. So like everyone
well,
has
here's
it,
the
but
here's the issue with that is I've had friends who their parents are way hover parents. They control everything their kids do. They didn't let them hang out with girls or friends. Every single one of the siblings in that family went out the deep end. Some are
crazy.
coming
Yeah.
back and stuff.
So I
but,
think
like,
it's the whole teach
drugs,
them,
and it
Yeah.
push them away from their parents, which was the opposite of what their mom was trying to do.
But did their parents just say no, you can't be on it, or did they
or were
actually
they,
like talk about it?
I don't know.
I think that could be a huge thing, is helping the kids understand why,
Make sure I deleted everything.
instead of just saying nope, you can't have it.
There's that one quote. It's like, teach them correct principles to the best of your ability, and
And
then
let 'em govern
you almost got to
themselves.
just let them govern themselves to a limit.
But
Joe
even-
Smith.
Yeah.
Joe Smith.
But even then, like in this situation, then it's up to them whether or not they want to have social media, right? So as a parent, how do you?
You could have house rule. I've seen a lot of families that just have the rule in the house, like until you're 13 or 14, you can't even have social
Yeah,
media.
but 13, you're still
that's when
so
you're-
young.
I
That's when
guess
you're
that's- yeah.
ripe for like.
Dude, I don't know what you do
grooming.
though, because I know there's no positive to it,
That's
but
the issue.
everyone has it.
There really is
and
no
they're gonna
positive.
feel left
'Cause
out if
yeah,
they don't have
But,
it.
who talked about that? Someone talked about that where like you can't be the only kid in high school because they're gonna get access to it no matter what.
Yeah, they're gonna
So if you're
find
like,
a
hey, we
separate
don't
They
do
have a
phone.
social
burner
media.
phone.
No, that's
Exactly.
what
I
they.
know.
If
I
all their
know.
friends are doing it, they're either gonna feel like an outcast or they're gonna be like, "Okay, I got to go behind mom and dad's back."
I think you
You
should
don't
have
wanna create
open
that.
dialogue about it. I've seen a lot of people that just put the time limits on the phones. I don't know what you do.
And maybe, and
I'm
here's
nervous.
here's one thing
And
too.
my kids
though.
growing fast.
They're growing fast. But think, if you have a lot of stuff going on in your life,
In like your family's life.
just
Your kid.
goals. Your kids playing sports, or they're in this and that, and
they're
doing all
bored,
these
I
things.
think that's where it gets
yeah,
super
they don't have time to
dangerous.
get on social media.
And when they do, it's just
It's
like,
like a little 5-10 minutes, and then
but
they're
if they're
they got to
bored,
practice.
I think that's when they get into the dangerous
Yeah, then
stuff.
you're just swiping and swiping and
you
swiping,
start
and
looking
you
at
start
stuff
looking
you
at like
shouldn't be.
you're reading
And
stuff
then
that
fake
bullying and
profiles
fake
are talking to you.
Exactly.
that's what
So,
I'm scared of.
Maybe that's what it is as a parent, we need to show our kids, like, hey, we're going places, and you're
Yeah.
going to watch me go there. And this thing, this phone, this social media, I don't spend time on it because that's stopping me from
I
getting
think
where
that's
I'm
a
going.
big
Or you
thing.
teach
What do
them
you
like,
wanna
hey, this
do?
is a tool.
A tool.
This is a tool to
Exactly.
help
I
you
like that.
accomplish
Because
your
how many
dreams.
parents like I just see it, moms that are 30-ish, they're on their phones 24/7 when I'm at a soccer game or when I'm
Yeah, they're not
just
even
anywhere
watching
I'm
their
at in
kids.
public, there's a kid with them and they're always scrolling.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's your kid gonna look up and see? They're
That's
gonna
the
see
normal.
how addictive
Mhm.
this is. Oh, it's I can't wait to do that.
It's normal.
And
Do you
it's
think we do that
nothing
to
good.
numb?
It's addicting.
Yeah, I don't think it's a numb, dude.
I think
Is
it's
it not a numb?
it's escapism is what I think it is.
Which would be like a numbing.
But I don't even think it's a
I think it's because in the social
I don't
dilemma
know.
they talk about it's a gambling addictive mentality when you're on social
But-
media.
you don't know what you're gonna.
It's the
say
same
next.
reason people go into a casino. Why do they go?
But it's not for escapism, because think of escapism as you don't like something and you're getting away from it.
verification
That's
too.
true.
Most people don't hate their lives and they're escaping something. It's literally, I just think it's
It's
addicting.
addicting.
I just think mentally, human beings,
And
we get
is
addicted
that where they
easily.
go for their affirmation?
Could be.
Is the likes and comments they get on their
You know what,
photos.
here's-
a lot of it could be boredom. It could
With
be
that, who's that? Is it Pearl? You know who I'm talking about?
redhead.
Yeah, she talks about feminism
Yeah.
and masculinity
Yeah,
and stuff.
she's sweet.
She's really interesting, but she talked about she had a group of girls in this room and they were talking about social media, and she was like, "So why you guys just doing it for the attention, right?" Like, no, I just love the way I look. Okay, so why don't you take a picture and keep it in your own phone library? They're like, "Oh, well, because I just want to put it on my Instagram." Like, okay, why? If you're doing it for
Yeah.
you, why don't you just take a cute picture of yourself,
And then look
keep
at
it on your phone in your phone library, and look at it every now and then? And they're like, "Well, because I want it on Instagram." Like, why do you want it on Instagram? Because people can see it and like it on Instagram. There we go.
Exactly.
It's for self-validation, making sure that other people
And it
think that you're worth
depresses
something.
most other people because they don't look as good as they do in real life in that fake picture.
Yeah,
The
crazy.
amount of depression social media causes blows me away too.
So at the end of the day, what it comes down to is having self-worth
Yeah.
and not looking for that self-worth
teaching that
outside
self-worth to your
of
children.
Yeah.
in your inner self.
Yeah,
And I believe, honestly, I mean, whether people like it or not, it's spirituality. A lot of self-worth comes from
knowing
understanding
who
who you are and what your purpose is here on this earth.
Yeah.
I would agree with
You know,
that.
and not letting all of these outside voices of people you really don't care about influence how you think about yourself.
I like it. And especially not just, have you read it, Outwitting the Devil, that
Yeah.
book? So I think it's easier to have self-worth if you're not drifting and if you're working towards something.
Yeah,
but
go
if
places.
you're
love that.
drifting, how can you have good self-worth?
So what is drifting?
So it's just kind of being okay with how your life is, not progressing towards anything, not working towards anything, just kind of living.
Just existing.
And I think 99% of the population post-college goes into drift mode because they get a job. No, I'm not saying there's wrong with that. I'm just saying everyone gets their job, they get their house, they have their family and wife. That's life. They never work on bettering that relationship with their wife, bettering their relationship with their kids, bettering how they act at work, bettering how effective they are at work. They just accept this is my life, and then they start drifting.
So in the book, just for some reference, the book is an interview with the devil, right?
Yep.
And the devil's number one goal and tool to stop progression is drifting.
Yep.
So he is the happiest, whether you believe in this or not. In the book, he's the happiest when
You're
Somebody's
drifting.
drifting.
Yeah.
because why? Because you're not
'Cause you're not progressing
fulfilling
towards
your true
anything.
purpose.
Yeah, you're not
reaching your
he
potential.
would rather have us drift than digress, because when we're digressing, we notice. But when we're drifting, we're kind of just in like a zombie state, just accepting everything
You
for
just
what it is.
I love that.
Drift.
Well, think
That's
of
such a good word, drift.
Drift.
think of
Scary.
your relationship, right? So, like you guys said, what is courting? When you meet a lady or a guy that you love,
you
and
try
you're
and
like,
impress
man, I
her."
really
Yeah.
want this person. What do? You court them.
You pursue.
You're doing
make them feel
stuff.
special.
Yeah. You're going out of
Leaving
your way to
notes,
make them feel
doing
special,
as much
right?
as you can.
And like you said, then
Kissing
you,
their face.
yeah, kissing their-
Honestly, lip on lip.
But then you get married, you sign that document,
You stop trying. You let yourself
you
go.
let yourself go before you're working out, trying to look good. But seriously though,
and how
there's a lot of
lazy
truth
do
to
you
that.
get instantly, where you kind of just
Yeah,
lay
Maybe
around
not
the
instantly.
apartment?
Maybe it's
Maybe
like
the
it's more
honeymoon
gradual.
phase, yada yada yada.
I'll tell you, after like 7 years now and 3 kids later, you have to actively try not to do
That's
that.
what I'm saying though. Is you
Yeah.
start to drift and think of
It's a gradual.
think of how many relationships end 15 years in, or 20 years in, or 10 years in. It's like, how can you not end a relationship if
because
you're
you're both
drifting?
two completely different people.
You're just drifting. You're letting
Yeah.
the world take you
You're
wherever
not
you want to
progressing
go.
towards something.
Or waking up every day and being like, okay, how did I court my wife or my then girlfriend or fiance before
your
we got married,
husband.
husband? And then now, what can I do right now to court him? How can
Exactly.
I improve our relationship going forward so we're not just drifting?
Something me and my wife talked about in the honeymoon phase is everyone gave us the advice right before we got married. Have fun in the honeymoon phase because it doesn't last long. And we would always talk like, what a poor way to look at life. Why can't the honeymoon phase be the rest of our life? Why can't we treat every day as the honeymoon phase? Because that's just on the
That's
marriage.
action, for sure.
Yeah, so why is it we only get 1 week of honeymoon phase before we start like
Drifting.
noticing weird things, start getting bugged? Why can't we just decide to progress towards a honeymoon phase for the rest of our life?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like the whole honeymoon phase is over is a form of drifting and just accepting like, all right, this is how marriage is, instead of like, no, let's make this a level 10 marriage.
I agree.
This video is brought to you by Dude Deals. We created a software for guys to make sure you never have to pay full price for anything ever again in your life. It's a really cool software that sweeps the internet for deals and sales. Imagine if you never paid full price ever again in your life, how much money you would save. Go ahead, click the links down below, check it out. We're here to help dudes be dudes and helping dudes save money. Click the link down below, check it out.